TW Steel presents the TW Steel Solberg World Champion Editions. The Norwegian motorsport legend. The first driver ever to win the FIA World Championships in 2 different motorsports. The raw talent that masters every terrain as he faces it at full speed. With a life lived on the edge that requires supreme timekeeping and keep your pulse racing all the way. Built with elegance, durability and unbeatable timekeeping precision, TW Steel's new breed of bold watches reflects the racing spirit of Petter Solberg. Meet our new adrenaline-fueled watches that really demand your attention. twsteel.com.
Round 2 of the rFactor2 GT Pro Series headed from the gloomy, rainy skies of Silverstone to the beautiful weather of the Eifel Mountains, as 30 of the best sim racers in the world took to the infamous Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Erhan Jujovski's comeback drive at Silverstone sees him top of the point standings, but with the top 3 separated by just 1 point apiece and just 5 separating first and fourth, it would only take one slip up to see others take a huge jump up the table. AAA Esports' Erhan Jujovski took the sprint race win in commanding style, which would see him 10th in the top 10 reverse grid for the feature race. But crowd favourite and Formula 1 sensation Max Verstappen was penalised post-race for this move on Kuba Brzezinski. Because of Verstappen's penalty, Nuno Pinto inherits reverse grid pole position after his 11th place became 10th. Monaco's Manuel Biancalilla would look to capitalise on starting second to score some decent points, while Red Bull's Joni Tormala will want to keep Simoncic at bay. Rudy Van Buren will have a score to settle after Silverstone and starts in 7th, while Nikodem Wisniewski, Kevin Siggy and Erhan Jujovski round out the top 10. The rest of the grid is how they finished in the sprint race, with Petter Burlak in the Edge Esports McLaren starting ahead of Yuri Kasdorp in the Singularity Racing Audi. Verstappen was bumped down to 27th. A 2x2 rolling start on the pit limiter starts this series, with the lead driver in Nuno Pinto allowed to drop the limiter anywhere within Sector 3. In the run-up to the chicane, he released the limiter and managed to catch Biancalilla off guard, which allowed those behind him to swamp him on the run into the chicane. Verstappen got a massive jump, but he made contact with Risto Capet, who fired into Kuba Brzezinski, sending him out into the barrier. Biancalilla was also hitting the chicane, spinning him round and dropping him back. With Biancalilla out the way, Tormala and Pinto started to pull away from the chasing pack. While behind, Jonas Ravio made a bold move on Rudy Van Buren into the hairpin. Wisniewski also wanted a piece, with Van Buren pushed off into the gravel, which left him vulnerable to losing more positions. Dennis Lind was hoping to make up for his double DNF at Silverstone in the notoriously difficult to drive Bentley. Sancho's Jan van der Heide tried to have a go at the Lamborghini GT3 driver on the start-finish straight, but Lind was equal to it, and the Dane able to cover off Van der Heide and Kevin Van Duren into turn 1. Back up the front end of the grid, Jurgen Simoncic, Hani Al-Sabti and Wisniewski were nose to tail heading into the chicane. Al-Sabti tried to get the outside run into the chicane and have the inside line for the final corner, but didn't make it work. Al-Sabti's exit of the chicane was compromised, allowing Wisniewski to steal a position. But on the start-finish straight, Al-Sabti used the toe to slingshot past both Wisniewski and Simoncic into turn 1 in a very tightly fought battle. It brought Al-Sabti into the podium positions as Pinto and Tormala continued to pull away in first and second. But it wasn't the only battle going on, as Jujovski had joined in the fight between Siggy, Ravio and Van Buren at the hairpin. But as they came out of the hairpin, Ravio came off the dirt and hit Jujovski, which sent him off to the opposite side of the track. After coming out of the Michael Schumacher S, he was clipped in the rear by Davim Rocek and pitched into a wall. With his rear wing gone, he was out of the race and therefore scores no points. But he wasn't the only one in trouble, as Dennis Lind came out of the final corner side by side with Motrek and almost suffered the same fate. Thankfully, it was only a half spin for the Dane and he continued, but only after losing a bunch of positions and then having to fight with Jimmy Nazula and others into turn 1. But the Bentley lived to fight another day and he held Nazula off. Verstappen meanwhile has quietly moved up to 13th place when he came up behind Boyer Milan on the start-finish straight. Under braking for turn 1 he clipped Dennis Jordan, who in turn hit Yuri Kasdorp, and that sent the Audi into a spin. Von der Heide was in the wrong place at the wrong time as he came up on the stricken Audi and hit it, which wrecked his suspension. Sancho's run of bad luck across all competitions continues. Up at the front, Pinto was starting to struggle with his tyre wear and came under attack at the chicane. Tormala used a better run through the chicane to stick his nose up the inside of the final corner and snatch the lead. From there, he was simply uncatchable. Pinto was now in danger of being taken by Wisniewski too, who could see that he was struggling. After his tag from the Dutchman earlier, Dennis Jordan was able to catch and start to harry Verstappen into the chicane. Just like Tormala, he managed to capitalise on a bad exit from the F1 race winner and took his position back at the final corner. This then put Max under pressure from Milan and Ravio, who had put the metaphorical target on the back of Verstappen's Team Redline BMW. Milan and Verstappen went side by side at the start-finish straight, but Verstappen was not giving up as he maintained his place through turns 1 and 2. But Max had taken too many track limit warnings imposed upon him by rFactor2's cut detection system, and he received another penalty. After which, he brought the car around to the pit lane again and retired. Redline was not having a good race as Van Buren picked up a penalty for this move on Kevin Siggy. Siggy continued, but his tyres did not like being put through that, while Van Buren came under immediate threat from Burlak, who had made a brave move at the kink on the back straight. But on his return from the pit lane, Van Buren tried to stick one on Dennis Lind under braking for the first corner. Eventually, he made it stick, but his chance to maximise his points haul after Yovski's retirement were well and truly gone. Lind put up a brilliant fight through the Mercedes arena, but his Bentley was not up to the task. 20th was now the property of the Dutchman. As the time limit expired, it was Jani Tormala who took the win, and with it 35 points to jump his way significantly up the championship standings. Nuno Pinto held on to second ahead of Wisniewski, and they too will have made significant inroads into the overall championship standings. But there was still time for drivers to grab a last minute position or two, as Al Sabti, Jordan, Burlak and Milan were battling for 4th. In his attempt to cover off Jordan, Al Sabti accidentally took himself out of the running as they headed for the final corner, and it significantly dropped him down the order. Jordan, Burlak and Milan then had a drag race to the end, with Jordan, just like Pinto, holding on. So it was a dominant win for Joni Tormala in the Red Bull Racing Esports McLaren, who did nothing but pull away from Pinto once he'd passed him. Pinto then had to spend the rest of the race holding off Wisniewski, whose third place meant we saw 2 Formula 1 teams on the podium. Dennis Jordan maintained 4th after the contact with Al Sabti was deemed a racing incident, while Burlak and Milan will be disappointed to miss out on being so close to a 4th place position. Jonas Ravio took a solid 7th in the YMCA Esports car and finished ahead of Jurnej Simoncic's Audi, although early calculations actually put Simoncic at the top of the point standings, thanks to Jovski and Van Buren having bad races. Kevin Siggy managed to keep on track after his spin to finish 9th, while Arla Schoenfliet rounded out the top 10. Next up for our GT Pro Series races, it's the very difficult Virginia International Raceway in the United States on the 30th of April, which should provide us with some great racing for us to commentate on and for you at home to watch. If you want to join in watching this fantastic series, follow rFactor2 on twitch.tv/rFactorLive and also support our partners The Race by subscribing to their YouTube channel, where they will be hosting the GT Pro Series and GT Challenge Series competitions on their own live streams. Also a massive thanks to Fanatec and TW Steel for providing the prizes on offer for the winners in this series, and we shall see you on Monday the 30th of March for the race at Virginia. So until then, I've been Aidan Millward for rFactor2, and goodbye.
Good evening, everyone. We're back for round 3 of the rFactor2 GT Pro Series presented to you by the Race, Fanatec, and TW Steel. We already saw the previous 2 rounds, or at least a recap from round 2. And once again, we're all here to actually witness some great race action. With me in the commentary booth, once again, Lee Smith and Aiden Millward. My name is Randy Butler. Good evening, guys.
Yeah, welcome back again. I tell you what, 2 weeks passes really fast, it seems. Obviously, we're all in lockdown. It seems like the world is in sim racing right now. So what better place to be right now?
Definitely a lot of action coming today your way. As I said already, it's the Virginia International Raceway. We had Nürburgring last time. Before that, we had been on Silverstone. A very interesting track, especially those quick S's, right?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to work out for these guys. Obviously, you just had a wonderful recap from Aiden there. If you guys seemed to be a little confused, it was a recap of last race, which was 2 weeks ago at the Nürburgring, which has obviously shook up the points a lot. So we're coming into a very different track, obviously, from Silverstone and Nürburgring, where we've already been. Obviously, there's that big back straight. You guys are going to be seeing it. There's the big S's. The race will be starting around about corner 14 as well, so obviously it's going to be a rolling start. So you guys are I think they're in for a treat. And Aiden, you obviously you pulled in the recap from last week. There was some action. I think it's safe to say is the best way to put it, with some rubbing his racing.
Yeah, because of the 2 incidents that he was involved in, David Morocek is actually having to sit out this race. So he's serving a 1-race ban or some time on the naughty step in the sin bin, whatever you want to call it. But the other thing we need to talk about tonight is we've got to bring out the big one. It's BOP. The cars have had a little bit of a bit of a fiddle to sort of try and make things fair, make things that are sort of bring the slower cars forward, the faster cars rein them in a bit. Sorry, I'm a bit bunged up today. It's allergy season. But yeah, the BOP stands that the Bentleys, well, Bentley, because there's only Dennis Lynn driving one, that's had 5 kilos taken off. It's got 2% engine torque and power, so that should help Dennis along that back straight. The BMW has had 2 kilos added. The McLaren 720 has had 5 kilos added. The Mercedes has had 5 kilos taken off, and the Porsche 911 has also had 2 kilos taken off. And the other thing to watch out for around this track, as you can see, as the cameras sort of fly around the track and give you some good cinematic shots, is that there are no gravel traps. There's no runoff. So if you drop a wheel onto the grass here, chances are the only place you're going is the weeds.
Also on your screen, the current standings with Kevin Ziggy, the McLaren Shadow driver, being our championship leader coming into round 3. Hani El-Sabti, as you can see, there's no green, no red next to him. He's staying in second, while Johnny Simoncic and Joni Termola, especially Joni after his win at the Nürburgring main race, made up some positions here and found themselves on 3 and 4th, with Dennis Jordan closing our top 5.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. Obviously, Rudy was kind of taken out last week. Obviously, had a great start. Yayovsky as well. They're on similar footings. While they had a decent sprint rate, the points in the race were kind of capped a little bit. So I expect to see them back up there. I can tell you, Yayovsky is currently the fastest on the track at the moment. They're in qualifying, I believe, at the moment. Yep. That is going on right now. Obviously, everybody else going in there. Further down, obviously, you can see that some of the guys that haven't done so well. For example, Bianca Lila, he was always on the cusp of like that 11th place, didn't quite get the 10th spot right. You remember, so obviously when you get the reverse from the sprint race, well, this time he's doing very well in qualifying. So we'll see whether it does change, obviously with the car changes, etc. Him himself, he's in one of the McLarens, so hasn't been affected that much. It's one of the what was regarded as the faster cars, if you could call that, whereas obviously a lot of people also using the Audis and the BMWs are up the top there. So it's definitely going to see whether it shakes things up, whether we do see some of those Porsches further up the grid, whether we see Dennis Lynn being able to, the only Paul Bentley driver that's out there, whether he's to be able to push it. But I expect to see the same names at the top, really.
I'm not sure, to be honest, because Virginia has a different rhythm in terms of driving here compared to the tracks we saw before. It's also, let's say, one of the newer tracks for us in terms of competitive racing at rFactor2. So let's see who's actually getting it right the earliest, basically.
Well, Mr. Yoni Tormala, was our winner last week in the race, if I'm not mistaken. Has just posted a quick time slightly faster than Yayovsky, so that's going to shake things up. Him himself is 4th overall in the points as well, so that's definitely going to make it closer. Yayovsky down in 6th place at the moment. I'm talking overall points. Over the first 2 races we've had, this has been the 3rd race. We're effectively at the halfway point through the series after the end of today.
Yeah, definitely. It's now the time to get those points in, making sure that you're in a good spot for the last races of the season if you want to grab that crown. And Manuel Biancolino, with we're currently on board with, he is one of those that could still do that, Stab, to into the top 5 and getting a good position to maybe then end up with a win here. There's obviously a prize pool for every single race here in the GT Pro Series. There's also Fanatec gear on it, there's TW Steel watches on the line each and every race, and then there's a big prize pool also at the end of the championship for actually, getting the crown, being in the top 3 of this field of 30 of the best GT drivers in the world. So there's a lot to race for, even here at Virginia with every single round. And as he said, Tomele, after his win in main race for Red Bull Racing Esports last time, he's once again looking strong here in the qualification while we're on Yuri Kastorp, the Singularity racing driver, one of the few Audi R8s. The other one is Nuno Pinto. I think there are only two Audi RS R8 LMS GT3. Totally mixed the model up now, but you know where it's going to, right? But there's another one. Thanks, director Simoncic, the other Audi. He is what is 4th right now, right? 4th or 3rd even.
In the overall title, 3rd. Yeah, 3rd place at the moment over the overall points. There's also a new team out there, I believe, Rene. I feel there's 2 drivers and a new team that has appeared. I can't think what it is. You might have more details on this.
I have absolutely no clue what you're talking about.
Don't get him started.
It's a beautiful livery, right? Isn't it?
It does look good. It does look good. Nuno Pinto and is it Ciara?
He told me it's Shara.
Shara.
So I try my best. I'm not even trying his first name. We talked about it for 30 minutes in Discord.
It's Zbigniew.
Now 8 comes in.
Zbigniew.
Yeah.
Zbigniew.
I could go with that one. Zbigniew. Yeah, that works.
I just call him Zibby, and that's totally fine, he told me. So I'll go with that.
Zed.
There's the other one, Nuno Pinto, on the R8 LMS. Not as quick right now as the top guys, though. Let's quickly go through the top 5. Tomele, Yayovsky, Kastor, Biancolila, and Raivio. Jonas Raivio, definitely one of the drivers that's always kind of lurking in the background, just like Dennis Jordan. But Dennis Jordan managed to get top 5 with that. So sometimes we have it on camera, nearly never in a real highlight reel, besides the recap from Nürburgring, where he and I think it was El Sapti collided, the AAA BMW. And got rid of one of the BMWs. But these guys are kind of the drivers that we sometimes miss because they're not in many of the fights, but they're really, really strong when it comes to consistently scoring points here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it's going to continue. Like whether we saw some of the big front runners. I mean, at the moment, Tomele has this is it. So over, right? Qualifying is over. So there you go. Tomele does get the first place. Yayovsky. So we're starting to see the names that are doing very well in there, as you mentioned. Kevin Siggy, of course, is top at the moment. He's only got 8th place overall, though, in the qualifying. So, and don't forget, this is the sprint race we're starting off with in this series. We have a sprint race into an actual race, 15-minute sprint race into a 45-minute race. So the top 10 will get reversed from that sprint race into the actual 45-minute race. So you really want to be in that top 10 shootout as the race goes and as you finish off the sprint race.
Yeah, I think Yayovsky will be looking to try and make amends for the Nürburgring after he unfortunately ended up in the wall. And at Silverstone, he also got spun around there and had to claw his way back through the field. So he'll be looking to try and make sure he gets to the end of this race in one piece and score loads and loads of valuable points because he's definitely one of the guys that we expect to be at the top every single time he steps onto a track.
It's actually impressive that Yayovsky is that high, considering the amount of action he's been involved in throughout the spins that he's been caught up in. That the fact that he's managed to keep himself relevant in the points is very impressive.
What kind of strikes me in our grid for the sprint race are names like Rudy van Buren, P13 only, Hani El Sapti in 17th right now, Simoncic in 19th. So not really the positions we actually expected these guys in, right?
It's a very, very difficult track, this one. Virtual Le Mans Cup ran here a couple of weeks ago, and I thought I'd give it a go myself, but I just couldn't get on with it. So this is a track that suits a certain type of driver, as Joni Tormela is leading the pack around for the formation lap.
Yeah, so as I said, the formation lap, they're only going to be able to start it around, I think it's turn 14, if I'm not correct, between turn 14 and the start-finish straight. So obviously, there's going to be a bit of a parade. Everybody's got to make sure they're bunched up nicely. And then it's all down to figuring out exactly when Joni is going to floor it. The current man in 4th place in the overall leaders. He won the race last week on the Nürburgring. So expecting some big things, and he just stole him and actually Yuri Karsdorp. We didn't mention Yuri Karsdorp, the fact that he snuck in with a fast time just before the end there.
It will be an interesting start. Yoni now kind of used to being in the lead, right? That's where he ended his last race. Now he's starting the sprint race in that position once again. So for someone that doesn't have that much experience on rFactor2 before coming into the series, he picked pace up so quickly. It's really impressive. So the Red Bull Racing Esports guys doing a great job there, making the mark here in the rFactor2 GT Pro Series. Kevin Ryan is in 10th right now. That was a similar position to last time. He always tries to stay around there, getting maybe the pole for the main race. But we also know how hard people are willing to fight to actually get that pole on the next run.
I think with the ban on one of the drivers, it's going to give a little bit of a warning to some of those that have been driving a little bit too hard. I think it's safe to say. I think that might be a bit of a red flag to some of these guys to say, hey, keep it clean out there. We want to see some good quality racing from these guys.
So it will be Red Bull Racing Esports, then AAA Esports with Yayovsky, Karsdorp for Singularity, and Musto GT Esports, that's Manuel Biancolila. On the 4th and 5th is Jonas Raivio, YMCA Esports, that's number 17. Then we get our first Williams Esports car, which is Nikodem Wisniewski, who can have a huge impact on such a race. He's a fighter, that's for sure. And starting there in 6th, I'm pretty sure he's looking at the front row already.
Absolutely. It's going to be a bit crazy because obviously there is that big, long straight that people are going to be working out, and it's going to be their fast S's, and that's obviously once we hit turn, I think it's about turn 3, 4, that's where we may see some contact. We don't know. Obviously, we may even see them going 2, 3 wide through the first chicane. Who knows?
Yeah, Joni is the one that can open the race here, and we see them getting bunched up again. Double file. That actually looks really good on that long straight. Look at all these cars. Eunice, by the way, he's the 650S. If you're wondering why his McLaren looks a bit different to the other McLarens, because it isn't the same model. He's went for the previous year's GT3, basically, trying to use a weapon that he is used to, basically. Let's see Aristo Capit, 7th, also another driver, and that I would expect to make a jump here as soon as we go green in Virginia International Raceway.
Yeah, they're getting ready. He's bunching them up nicely. This is very clean so far. Obviously, you know, everybody's keeping well in position. The server track team haven't had to tell them all off too much, but we're just waiting for Uni now. It's all on him to try and floor it. I think he's off. Here we go. The race is on.
Good start by Oni. Seems like everyone else was sleeping here as he blasts off in the distance. Yayovsky's still 2nd, Yuri Karsdorp still 3rd. Seems like Risto Capit's now trying to get closer to Nikodem Wisniewski. Look at that pack we've seen here. Jonas Raivio side by side with Manuel Biancolila, but Karsdorp still on his own. He's probably blocking the inside now. Good move there to stay behind Yayovsky's BMW. It seems like everyone got off the line quite well here, I would say.
Yeah, that was a very clean start. That's what I love to see. So Yuri has got Raivio up behind him at the moment. He's trying to put some pressure on him. Obviously, the front four stayed pretty much as is. It's all on Raivio trying to push the initial start, looking further down the field to see if there's anything happening. But Raivio is definitely going to try through the S's, see if he can get an angle. But at the moment, it is a very clean first lap.
We see a bit of grass being kicked up there while cars cut the S's there. It will be in deciding factor maybe, because you can easily run into a penalty for cutting the track too often. While we're here on board with Yuri Karsdorp's R8, looking at Jonas Raivio. Oh, both going off track, and you see everyone just copying the same mistakes. There's not much margin here for missing the line over those fast and floating turns.
Well, you're staring at the backside, right? So it's just it just draws you in effectively. Looking at Wisniewski as well, obviously a person that got spun a couple of times, didn't have had quite a lot of misfortunes throughout the tournament so far, but has always been up there in and about. He's all over Biancalila, who qualified, I believe it was 3rd, 4th place, so he's actually dropped a couple of places down to 5th place at the start here. Rabiot, though, on your screens, continuing to push, continuing to chase, still at the moment very safe. I think everyone's just getting used to the track, starting to feel themselves out. They've all had a good qualifying session, but now the race is on. They're all trying to feel out their opposition.
And that was the first move we saw, actually. That was Ravi overtaking Castor. So Ravi started in 4th, now up to 3rd after... Oh, I see...
Biancalila, yeah.
I saw someone dropping there. Yeah, Biancalila's back in front now of Yuri Castor, so they're still fighting. Look at that. Oh, going sideways. They're right in front of Rudy van Buren, and that one board with right now. He's losing to Jim Niesela on the inside. That's the McLaren to the right.
Wisniewski all over Biancalila. Biancalila just left that door wide open as he tried to get through Kastrop, and it almost gave him a chance to sneak on through, as you say, further down the field. I think it's Riso Capit who's been so misfortunate in this series so far. He's all over them in 7th place as well, trying to look towards this battle between Wisniewski and Biancalila, see if he can manage to get himself through.
Yeah, it seems like only Termala and Yayovsky are the ones that have a bit of breathing room. Everyone else is in the fight here on board with... Oh no, that's Dennis John in front of us. I think we're board with Kevin Wyatt.
A little bit off the top, and you were talking about earlier, Wisniewski and Biancalila, they continue to follow each other. One goes off the track, they all go off the track, everybody piling down, following them off there, but it's still pretty safe all the way down the pack at the moment. It is all about Rabiot trying to get that distance. He stretched himself over a second's difference from Yuri Kastrop the second he got past, but up the front, obviously Juni Tormala and Yayovsky, they have got themselves their own race going, so we're going to keep our eyes on further down the field.
Wisniewski now on camera. That's the white and blue Williams Esports car, and Biancalila from Muster right in front of him. On the back, we got one of the AAA stars, basically, because AAA had been so strong in nearly all the rFactor2 events out there right now. That's Risto Capit waiting. Look at how close Wisniewski is now. He's trying to go to the outside on Biancalila. Does he have a chance down the road there if he's braking a bit later? No, he's going back. Wow, what a crossing maneuver on the inside, making the move here. And can Biancalila return? Yes, he can. Look at that. And Risto Capit also going through. Wow, what a mistake here.
Big.
Dropping back.
Yeah, that's got... Oh, that's Wisniewski spun. That's a disaster for him. So he's gone. That's going to send a couple out. Rudy van Buren also dropping down the field because of that. So that was a very messy maneuver. Didn't see exactly who was at fault, but that's definitely caused a few problems for the front 5.
I think actually that Wisniewski had problems here because he was slowing down all of a sudden. He did that mistake with braking into that turn, opening the door for Biancalila and Risto Capit, and then all of a sudden he's losing like power. That was, everyone else was coming closer. We see Jimmy Niesela now, Jimmy Niesela trying to defend against Daniel Pastor. That's the white McLaren from Deuce Motorsport Club in the background once again, slightly going over those grass. You need to be aware of that, because if you're braking there, giving a bit too much steering input, then the car will just get loose, and then hell breaks loose as well.
I think he's actually blown his engine on the changing down too hard, but I was looking at his telemetry on a replay and it looked like his brake had jammed on, so one of those two things has caused the end of his race there.
Very unfortunate. That took out
Pinto's going for it. Is that? No, it's a lie. It was Daniel Pastor. Daniel Pastor passed Jimmy Niesela there. Just caught on your screens. Glad you caught it because I saw it happening in the background. So the cameraman's on board. He's managed to get that one sorted and actually got it as soon as he's got past Niesela. Niesela seems to be holding up a bit of a queue at the moment with our Sabti, who is very high in the points, just not very high in the rankings at the moment in this race. He's also looking to make a move. So Niesela's got problems.
Oh, once again, it's Castro versus Biancalila. These two are fighting since the start here, and this time it's Yuri Castro with the upper hand here, getting the position back from Biancalila. He started in 3rd, dropped to 5th, now up to 4th again for the Singularity Racing driver, but Manuel Biancalila is not done yet. That's for sure. Risto Capit also still close. That's a small little fighting group, but I just want to say, we lost Nikan and Wisniewski due to what just happened on screen. Rudy van Buren was also being taken out there. It seems like Zibi Shiara also got taken out in that. He's down to 25th now. He's still on the track. But yeah, definitely far behind everyone else. So I think we got 3 victims of that crash that we had on screen before. Kevin Siggy, he won 1 spot so far. He's now in 7th, but it's still a bit of a gap to the ones we have on screen now, to Manuel Biancalila and Risto Capit.
Yeah, there's that little pack there. Siggy's kind of in his own. And then there's the pack between 9th down to, I would say 11th, I think it is, from Nuno Pinto up to Dennis Jordan. They're all sort of racing for that important 10th place, remember. Obviously, this is the sprint race. Obviously, we've only got 8 minutes remaining in the sprint race. And as that race finishes, we'll be moving into the 45-minute race. So that 10th spot will become pole position in the start of the next race. And Nuno Pinto currently sitting in 11th, representing the new team, Butler Powell Motorsport, in there, is really trying to push for it on Kevin Ryan.
The one thing we need to take into account with the with all of this is that Erhan Yuyovski is actually closing on Yoni Tormala right now. So while everything's kicking off in the mid pack, we can't ignore what's happening at the top here.
Yuyovski definitely a lot stronger in the last laps. Even if the fastest lap was only 0.1 of a second quicker, the last one was nearly half a second quicker. So the BMW here. Oh, look at that!
Tried to send it down the outside. I mean, you're never really going to work it down the outside unless you have a really good drive. And Nuno sending it there on Kevin Ryan didn't quite work out for him. At the same time, Dennis Jordan was doing the same on Briliak. Briliak trying to trouble. So while this battle between 8th and 11th continues.
And trying to have the eyes everywhere now. Trying to have Yuyovski, in my view, somehow, if he actually makes a move up the first, that's what we see here. He is getting closer. Then Yuri Kastorp lost the position once again against Manuel Biancolila. Now it's Risto Caput that would like to also advance one position, but for that he has to overcome that Singularity R8, and that's not an easy task. Yuri Kastorp definitely a driver that can hold his own position.
Watching Yuyovski flashing his lights away at Tormala, just reminding that he's there, just trying to put him off as best he can. Yuri Kastorp, that little battle there continues on. Tormala still got Yuyovski looking at every single angle as Kastorp, has he got through? Capit not quite able to make it work.
It's getting closer everywhere now. Also see Peter Biolak from Edge Esports now under pressure by Dennis Jordan. That's a small two-man group right in front of these three. So action all over the field. Let's see if Kastorp now tries to move up on Biancolila once again. Risto Caput also trying to be part of that. Kastorp and Caput did that move before together while it was Wisniewski.
Let's see. Wide.
Oh.
He snuck through! How did Risto Caput? He snuck through. I don't think he's going to stick it on the outside here. It looks like Yuri should have the better drive, and he has managed to sneak back inside. Is he going to be able to squeeze back on the outside? No, but it doesn't matter. He's managed to get past, and it's Biancolila, unfortunately, that will drop down to 6th.
Wow, what a move by Risto Caput. He didn't got the traction out of that turn to make it stick there, but wow, that was risky.
Nuno's up
3 wide in there.
Nuno's got past Daniel Pastor. He's up into 10th place now, which is obviously one of the important places. He's making a move on Kevin Ryan as well, seeing if he can get past. He's got the track down the side along with Dennis Jordan right on behind him. And at the moment, Nuno Pinto is looking pretty hot.
And definitely also someone dropped out there. I think it was Peter Bielak who dropped due to an issue there. Because, oh, Kevin Ryan a bit unsafe out of that. Sliding left and right, and that's the chance for Nuno Pinto. They're going side by side into the next turn. Slide. Nudging there, still on the outside for Pinto. Can he get that traction? No, Kevin Ryan will be a bit quicker, and that's another McLaren. That's Daniel Pastorp now sneaking onto them, and behind that is Haniel Sapti also waiting for anyone to make a mistake.
It looks like Nuno Pinto needs a bit more funding just to get down that straight at the moment. Daniel Pastor really trying to stick it though, so Nuno's got to be aware while he's trying to make that move on Kevin Ryan that our Sabti and Pastor fighting behind him. And don't forget about Porsche Milan just behind them as well. They're all looking to get involved in this 10th place battle.
Yovski's having a look at Tormala around the outside of turn 1, but he's backed out of it. Sorry to cut across you there, and I'm watching this one there while you guys have been watching what's going on behind. But I think Pastor's going to get passed by Al-Sabti here.
Looks like it. Just about to try and squeeze through. Yeah, and like you say, with 4 minutes to go, obviously Yuyovski, this is kind of the time that he wants to make that move, right? He wants to get that first place, get that important points. He's going to be looking at that time. Also, don't forget about the battle between 4th and 6th with Capit through to Kastorp and Biancolila. That little battle happening there. And then further down the field, it looks like Siggy and Jordan are pretty safe at the moment. It's that battle between Ryan and Pinto.
Kevin Siggy actually closed the gap to Biancolila, Kastorp, and Capit obviously now on 4th, so he got through the entire pack and overtook all of them. But Kevin Siggy now wants a piece of the cake here. right on the back of Manuel Biancolila. Just waiting. Oh, is that the mistake? No, he's trying to copy, and once again, that's the problem, right? You're following someone that closely, you can even see the mistake, and you're like, yeah, that might be my chance, but you're still copying it. Absolutely nothing you can do to avoid that, and so far, he can't really make a move.
So I don't know if you know anything about this, Aiden, but obviously I'm seeing the drive-through penalty for Dennis Jordan. I'm going to guess that's to do with Brilliac, obviously now down in 16th.
Yeah, it's been assigned by the live stewards. It's down to contact. Usually the game picks up the cut tracks and then assigns you a penalty based on that, as we're seeing Tormola and Yoski come out the final corner now. Yoski's been pretty close on that back straight, but just doesn't have the required distance to launch a move into that fast left-hander that leads into the little loop towards the end. As Yoski's looking to the outside of turn 1 to try and get onto Tormola, but Tormola's not having any of it and really soaking up the pressure.
Absolutely love how Yoski tries to apply pressure now to Tormola. Let's see if that will actually work for him. We're nearly at the 2-minute mark, so if he wants to do something... By the way, I think we lost Dennis Jordan.
That was the drive-through.
Oh, that was the drive-through.
Oh, no, Pinto's off. Pinto's off. 12, dropping down the places. He was in 8th place. I don't know what just happened, but he's down there. Kevin Rye's still in place, and Al Sabti. So Pinto was forced off. Don't know exactly whether it was a driver error or something else happened there, but he's now back down behind Brizniewski in 14th place.
Let's see if we can actually get that as a replay here. That is Nuno Pinto there. He was still... No, he was 14th there already. So just waiting for them to get the right one. That's Kevin Ryan in front of him, the Simtech McLaren 720S there.
Yoski's as close as he's ever been to Tormola coming off the Oak Tree corner. So they're coming down the back straight now. Absolutely flying.
Just too much.
Enough. Yoski's making a move down the inside. He's going to go for it.
Yoski's dead level. He's not going to have the
left-hander. He's got the inside on the left-hander, but then Tormola's going to come back on the inside of the right-hander. Oh, contact. But Yoski is through.
Nice move with just a minute to go. He absolutely nailed that. Now, the question is, can Tormola put the pressure back on him? We saw the replay there, so we saw exactly what happened. It was simply driver error from Nuno Pinto trying to go too much on the outside and causing himself a problem from down to, 8th place that he was at, fighting for, down to 14. That's going to cost him absolutely going into the main race with just 1 minute to go here. Borja Milan's the man on 10th place at the moment. He's fighting Al Sabti, but on the screens, the main man, Yayovski, you see the move here on the replay.
Yeah, beautiful. He was waiting for that so long, right? He was looking at Joni, trying to figure out when to make that move, and then he tried around the outside. Once again, even that nudge wasn't enough to break the traction on the BMW to go in that left-hander, and with that, Yayovski is now in the lead in front of the main race winner from the Nürburgring from Red Bull Esports, Racing Esports. That's like, it gets kind of complicated. But he's in second now. Let's see what's going on in the rest of the field. That is, I think, Yuri Kastup here with Kevin Siggy now behind. Siggy now found himself in the top 10 after the mistake of Nuno Pinto, who dropped down, as I said already, to position 14. And with that, Borja Milan is now in 10th and would get pole position if the race ends now.
Yeah, Pastor is kind of close to him though, but I don't think he's going to be close enough with just the final lap here. Waiting for Yayovski to go over that line. At the moment though, Kastrup on your screens with Siggy, we're following with Kastrup just in front of him. That battle's been going on throughout it, and now Siggy, is he going to make the move? It looks like he's going to try. I don't think he's quite got the space to get down there. He has. That's a clean move. Just sailed past him.
Yovski's coming through the final couple of corners now, but we'll try and keep the stream on this battle that's happening behind. But yeah, Yannick Tormola is going to finish second to Erhan Yoski across the line. He flashes his lights. He's very, very happy with that win. He's managed to claw back some of the lost points from the Nürburgring.
Biancolila looks like it's going to be a standard 5th for him, which is a great finish. Ravio, Siggy in 6th, Kastrup in 7th, Kevin Ryan and Al Sabti with, as you say, Borja Milan up to 10th place with Daniel Pastor just on his back, and that's the cutoff. It means that Milan will be starting the main race as the pole sitter, and Yayovski will be flipping down to 10th place, but some great points for both Yayovski and Tormola. They're going to keep the pressure on. Kevin Siggy, of course, was the points leader coming into this. He finishes in 6th place, which is obviously going to still give him some decent points there. but we'll switch things around. Some very close racing in there. Great to see some clean overtakes, especially Yayovsky. So patient from Yayovsky to wait and pounce on Imola on the final lap.
Just really shows the class that we have here in the GT Pro Series. I mean, there have been some great moves. Obviously, we also had some mistakes here, but hey, that's racing on the edge, right? These guys try to be the quickest they can, and this time it was Yayovsky really showing off that he is the quickest, at least for this race, at Virginia International Raceway. While we see the AAA boys did a bit of side-by-side driving, showing off the great liveries. Unfortunately, Daniel Pastor with 11th just missed the pole position in the main race by 1 spot. Durland, we didn't have him that often on screen. The other Singularity Racing driver in 12th. It seems like Team Redline had a tough start into round 3 here. We know that Rudy van Buren, he got caught in the first big crash that we had, and also Kevin van Doren only 16th there after Peter Bjorlak also had a problem dropping down, or only Mercedes AMG GT, and 19th for Ferry Stanley for Satellite Racing, and then Robin Panzers closing out the top 20 here for Burst Esports.
Yeah, some quality rating, and you know, there's going to be problems. Obviously, Van Buren got taken out in there. I don't know about taken out. I'm not sure if that's the right way to say it. I think he kind of took himself out. I can't remember exactly how it worked out, but either way, he ended up his car going out. Jimmy Nasula also having problems, and Wisniewski didn't work out for him either. So a couple of problems. It is still a long way to go in this series, though. Obviously, we're only coming up to the halfway stage after the race today, so still plenty of points out there to be had.
Yeah, but you also want to make sure that you got the right position going into the later half of the season to ensure that you can be in a spot to actually win the championship here. And it seems like the AAA guys are definitely on their way to be part of that fight for the crown here, for the prize pool. Aiden, is there any rumors already in the background? We know that people were obviously waiting for the balance of performance, and it's slightly shifted now. But do we see teams already planning for that?
Well, one thing I noticed when I was watching the battle between Yoski and Tormula was that the McLaren still has something in the twisty section that the BMW doesn't. So the McLaren seems to have a little bit of edge on the old downforce thing. But one thing Lee said at the beginning of the race was how clean the start was. And the reason for that is because at the Nürburgring, when you saw it on the little recap that I did at the start of the show, is that some of the teams had spotters who basically said the leader's gone. So the guys at the back got a jump on the mid pack, and it caused a little bit of bumping and barging. So that's been outlawed now by our race director Jimmy Allison. So now they all have to sort of spot it themselves, and it's resulted in a much cleaner getaway for everybody.
So just saw that in the chat regarding the balance of performance. What happened? And can you give us an overview about that once again?
Yeah, I can do. Let me just find the right information. Here is that. Where's it gone? It's. I mean, you've got so much data on your screen. It really is difficult to find. So yeah, the Bentley has had the biggest sort of edit to it because it's just been so difficult to handle even for Dennis Lynn, who is a professional racing driver, it has to be said. So they've upped the torque power on that one. They've put some weight onto the McLarens. They've taken a bit of weight off the BMWs, and they've added some bits and pieces to the other cars just to try and make sure that the entire field is fair. And it's not just going to be everybody that's picked a McLaren is going to be at the front, and everybody that's picked a Mercedes is going to be at the back. So balance and performance, it's a way of making the racing fair, but at the same time, it's a very effective way of annoying a lot of drivers.
You might wonder that there's a Porsche listed, and we didn't saw a Porsche here in the GT Pro Series, but there's also obviously the GT Challenge Series, which is right next Monday. So it's always every 2 weeks for each series. If you're not familiar yet with the GT Series format, so this is the GT Pro Series, the best 30 drivers. For Season 1, we invited 15 of them, and 15 qualified via Hot Lap Qualifier, and everyone else was put in the rFactor2 GT Challenge Series, which is racing next Monday, as I said already. And from there on, you can basically move into Pro Series as some sort of feeder series, but also move up and down between the splits there. So currently we're running 3 splits in the Challenge Series. Aiden and Lewis McGlade are actually broadcasting that to you next Monday. It's definitely a race to look for, because it's great. There are a lot of big talents that want to push for the Pro Series, and while they can move between splits during the season, you can only move up and down in the Pro Series when it's actually over. So after our 6 events by 2 races each, so basically after 12 races. And we also have to look, now that we get into the later half of this season, who is in a spot that would currently mean you're out directly, because the worst 5 drop immediately. So 13 to 26, they just drop out of the Pro Series, and then they have to qualify new for the Challenge Series next season, while the next 5, so 25th to 21, they actually go into a playoff series against some drivers of Split 1 of Challenge Series to fight to stay inside Pro, or to have even more challengers pushing into Pro.
Well, the bottom, I'm just looking at the table now, is that you say from 31st to 26th. So currently from 31st up to 26th, that's Max Verstappen, David Rocek, Zbigniew Sciarra, Nuno Pinto, Jordi Viers, and Kevin Ryan. They are in the danger zone right now.
Yeah, obviously we know that Nuno Pinto came in late. He's a replacement for Jordi Viers, who's not part of the championship anymore. So he missed out scoring on round 1. So we will see how that changed in the end. We also have to remind people that there's actually one result that we just delete. So the worst result of the season will always get ripped out, basically, of the standings, and does not count towards your overall standings for the real season finish.
Just to remind you of who's at the top of the standings right now. We've got Kevin Siggy, Hani Al-Sabti, Jone Simoncic. That's your top 3. Siggy's got 190 points, so he's 8 points ahead of Al-Sabti, who is tied on points with... no, I'm not. I'm reading the wrong column. Okay, let's try this again. There's just 3 points separating first and second, and then 4 points between second and third. So, yeah, I don't math. Sorry.
On-air maths never really work. I mean, math doesn't even work for me in normal everyday life, so definitely not trying on stream. What you currently have on your screens is obviously the warm-up before we head into the main race. Main race, 45 minutes, top 10 reversed from the sprint results, and everyone else stays as they finish the sprint. So, any predictions of what's happening?
Ooh. Yayovsky's going to be making some moves. Hopefully won't get taken out. Judging by the start of the last race, I think it'd be clean. As Aiden mentioned, the fact that the spotter problem was changed further down the pack, but also I think the track also kind of lends to it being a bit clean, because it is that long straight. I don't know what that is. It's either a dog or a cat. I'm not too sure which. No, it's actually, you know what that was? That was an LED light bulb cover falling from the ceiling. Brilliant. That's nice. While I'm mid cast, that's what I like to see.
Your house is falling down.
Yeah, now the cats are all like, what the hell has just happened? They're all looking at it. But yeah, I think we're going to see Yayovsky continuing as he was there. He looked hot on the pace. Didn't set the fastest time in qualifying, but in the race pace, he looked really on it.
I'm just looking at the in-game chat as well. It looks like Nikita Wisniewski's got a drive-through to serve at some point during the first 3 laps of this race. So,
which is a bit harsh, because it looked like, I don't think it was his fault. It seemed like, I mean, I'm seeing people in chat saying it was his brake pedal went or something like that. I don't know. I haven't spoke to the guy himself, so I don't really know what happened. But we mentioned it at the time. It looked like he just lost pace suddenly. So whether something went on his sim rig or something, I don't know.
Everything can happen, basically technical issues, just like in your real car. Everyone that does real racing knows how painful that is. If you didn't do anything wrong and all of a sudden something's not working, you don't have any power, or worse, don't have any brakes, that's definitely something that you don't want to have. Another 3 minutes of warm-up. I'm not sure if we do the entire warm-up. That always depends on how quickly we get the grid in place. So if you're wondering, like, why are these guys still talking? Actually, Director, thanks for showing Arne Schonfleet here, because you're right, we have a Porsche, obviously from VIR Racing. That's the one you have on screen. Totally forgot about that. I'm really, really sorry for Arne. I hope he can forgive me at one point.
Yeah, and we'll see whether the adjustments have helped out. At the moment, it's still looking like the McLarens and the BMWs at the top there. Let's not forget the Audis, actually. The Audis are always in there as well, because we've had, it was Simincic, right? Simincic has been in the Audi, and I believe it was... Kastrop, that was it. Yeah, I was trying to think who was in the top 10 that was in the 5th place, I think it was.
Well,
in that race.
I found the actual BOP figures now. So the Bentley -5 kilos plus 2% engine torque and power. So the engine is back to what it was before they did the updates for this series. The BMW M6 has 2 kilos added. The McLaren 720S has 5 kilos added. The Mercedes AMG, the SLS, has 5 kilos taken off. And the Porsche 911, which I think is only Skovlit's car, is the -2 kilos. So that's the BOP. That'll probably change again for when we get to Le Mans. So anything can happen between there, just to try and get the field as close as it possibly can be. So it's down to driver ability that gets you to the front rather than your car being overpowered.
Yeah, which is, I guess what the Formula 1 series was trying this year, but we'll never see whether it worked or not at this rate, as we're all sat in the sim racing. But yeah, it's obviously, people in chat, they love to be like, oh, this guy's so much better than these guys. And seeing Dennis Lind in there, like, he's been getting flack as, like, at the end of the day, he is a factory driver, and clearly the Bentley's still not quite on pace, but let's not take it away from the guy's ability to actually drive. He is still a very, very good driver, as are simply all the people in this series. Like, there is no bad drivers in this series. Let's put it that way.
Well, if you saw how close
definitely not.
Sorry,
no, go for it.
No, you saw how close the timing sheets were for the qualifier. It was so close; they were just taking thousands off each other as the hooter sounds. And Boy Imola is on pole position in the 1-Acco McLaren. He's leading Hani Al-Sabti round as the rest of the field goes for the final formation lap of the evening.
Kevin Siggy obviously in 5th, and Bianco Lila then in 6th. We saw Capet and Raivio making up the next row. Joni Tomola, he finds himself in 9th after giving away the win here. Well, not really giving it away, but Jan Jajowski, he was the one pushing himself through there. The BMW now on 10th after the win. Round 13 and 14, that's Pinto and Simoncic, Biolak and Van Doren. I wonder now, Van Doren, we know he's such a good driver. I'm just waiting for that breakthrough here in the GT Pro Series.
Yeah, and I'm looking to Al-Sabti. Obviously, he's going to be starting second in this, and I think he's second in the points overall as we came into the race here. Obviously, finished in 9th place in the sprint race, but did perform very well in the Nürburgring actual 45-minute race, which we got right here. So I'm expecting to see him. I don't think these guys are going to be slipping off that top front two. I think they're going to be. It's going to have to be hard for Al-Sabti. Did very well last week, obviously sitting in there in the BMW. Obviously, it does mean that Tomola and Jajowski are down in 9th and 10th this time around. So we'll see whether Martin Drilland, who's also very good, and don't forget Nuno. Nuno was up in 8th place until he had that error. So he's going to be down in 13th. So look to him and Simincic to be pushing for that top 10 as well.
I know Renee will be looking to that.
I'm just ignoring the rest of the race, I know, joking. It's like in the end, I want to see a good race. Obviously, I would be quite happy for drivers to have a good first race in our new livery. But if it doesn't happen, then at least we've got a good race in our hands, and I'm absolutely sure that the main race will also be absolutely stunning here. Boy Milan, I wonder, it's one ACO driver, if it's tackle time for him. And if he's doing well at the start, because we saw Joni Tomola basically building his entire sprint race on that beautiful start he did.
Yeah, they can go at any point after turn. It's sector 3, so it's turn 14 onwards. They can go. I was reading the bit from race director Jimmy Allison say that after turn 12, the field can catch up to the leader because it's so tight there. They probably just have to fall back into line, and then they can spread back out again. So it's down to Boy Milan. Once he releases the pit lane speed limiter, that's it. The race is started. They don't have to wait for the start line. They don't have to wait for a certain point. They are racing. So just got to get ready and see what Milan does in the next 4 or 5 corners here.
Yeah, let's get ready to go. This is going to be a hot one. Al-Sabti in second. Keep your eye on him in the BMW. He's going to be looking to try and make a move early on. Cars drop, and then further down, don't forget about Yayovsky and Tourmalat, the front two from the sprint race. They have had the grid completely reversed. So Borja Milan, we're all eyes on him, waiting to see when he floors it. Looks like they're all building. You can see how packed up they are. Very clean start in the sprint race. Let's hope we have a clean start here.
We'll open it up soon. Hani El Sabti, that's the AAA BMW right next to him. Definitely trying to make an early move, and there's the start. He's gone.
Let's see how it works out. Al Sabti's clean away from behind him as well. Yuri Kastrop and Kevin Ryan just on the back of them at the moment. Further down the field, Tourmalat and Yayovsky, they're going to be the ones that are going to keep on pushing, but they've all been caught off guard here, I think. I think Milan had a really quick start on the minute, definitely caught them off guard. Milan, though, has fallen back. Al Sabti's made the move already.
That was really quick by the AAA Esports driver here to take the lead. And Kevin Ryan also pushed through. The Simtech driver finds himself in second position now. Yuri Kastrop once again fourth. That's a position he knows already from the sprint race. But Al Sabti, not as patient as his teammate was in the sprint race, immediately going for the lead here.
Yeah, Kastrop trying to sneak on through as well, along with Kevin Siggy. They're all looking to make the move. Borja was forced to go wide there. Oh, a little wiggle from Bianca Lila. That's forced Siggy to get past. Risto Capet also making the push as well. So Al Sabti clear, but now further down the field. Oh, a little wiggle from Ravio as well. So he's gone wide. Off goes Ravio. So he's gone off the track there. Bianca Lila will gain the places, and everybody else is going to be forcing past Tourmalat, and Yayovsky do get clean through there. Martin Drilland as well. We should not forget about him in the Audi. He's up to 10th place with him falling places.
Yeah, I think we lost Jonas Ravio. I saw a 650S spinning in the background. And very unfortunate. Also a huge fight between Simoncic and Pinto in 12th and 13. They're now back in position. They're all behind each other, single file, a bit easier than it was before because these two had been side by side for like 4 and 5 turns. We see Zapasta on the inside now of the Singularity Audi there in front, while we're on board with Nuno Pinto looking at Simoncic, and then right in front of that is Daniel Pastor and Martin Durland.
Yeah, Tourmalat already up to 8th place because of that, along with Yayovsky, because of the fact that they all dropped down there, so they're keeping check at the moment. Risto Capet looking to make a move on Siggy. It's all very close there on your screens as he's looking to try and squeeze around. I don't think you're going to be able to get around the outside there, but he's going to try and go for the late cut. Doesn't work out for him. Should be fairly easy to defend for Siggy there, as Kastrop just in front of them wants it all race
in
out.
the background, Pinto was spun by Kevin van Doren. At least I would say he was spun. I only saw it from the outside camera, like outside hanging on to that turn. So not.
Dennis Lid's gone as well.
Getting messy back there. Down to the back, it's all getting very messy. Up the front, it's still clean racing at the moment, but it's starting to be positions lost. Drilland's keeping his eye on that past door. Simoncic also up into 12th place because of that, along with Kevin Van Doren up behind him. Al Sabti still the race leader at the moment. Tourmalat on your screens there, trying to put on them, but Al Sabti got away so clean on Borja Milan, and now it looks like it's starting to pace themselves out in the front, so we'll keep our eye as the drivers look to make a move in this long race. 41 minutes to go, so plenty of time for taking over maneuvers. No need to make any rash moves. We're past the first lap, we're past the first craziness, so everybody starts to settle in.
Seems like Yayovsky and Tourmalat now together on the hunt for the big pack in front of them, while we see here, I wanted to go to that fight, but it's fine, then we don't. Tourmalat and Yayovsky now trying to close the gap to Bianca Lila, Capet and Kastorp. That is the Audi you see here on your screen with Kevin Siggy's black and bluish McLaren right in front of that. So a really long row of absolute top drivers that Tourmalat and Yayovsky would have to overcome if they want to get back into the top 5.
Capet trying to make the move. Is he going to get around Yuri? I don't think he's got the position. And Bianca Lila's up behind him, looking to maybe squeeze it through. But Risto just taking a little look there, going wide, forcing Yuri to defend all over his backside now.
Was trying to have a look at the outside and then crossing in, but it was Kastorp that covered the inside, make sure that there was absolutely no space for him to dive in. They lost a bit of time though. It seems like Manuel Biancolida also had to let off the gas a little bit because Tourmalat and Yayovsky are definitely closer than they had been before.
Aiden, we need to get down to the bottom of this, because I see a drive-through for Al Sabti, the race leader, that has just come out from the stewards.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that because I've only just seen it pop up myself. But speaking of Ciara and Nikodem Wisniewski have also had drive-through penalties assigned to them. So, yeah, I'll have to check in with that one and see what happened. If I can find that out, I'll get back to you. But I'm assuming it's something to do with contact in the previous race or at the start of this one. So, yeah, I'll have to get on that one.
Yeah, got to assume it was the start of this one. Back towards, that does mean that Al Sabti will become race leader if Al Sabti needs to pull in. And again, Risto Capit continuing to have a look over Yuri Kastrup on your screen, the race leader, not for long. And of course, that's going to mean everybody will shuffle up a place, continuing to gain those points as Risto Capit continues to try hard. But this pack has been caught up. Tomala and Yayovski now on the backside of Bian Kalila, down in 7th place.
See Martin Durland on screen. He's still trying to get that slipstream working for him to close the gap to this huge group. You can see them in the background, that all the way in the background. That was the Audi of Martin Durland. They're trying to get into this group here with Risto Capit, Manuel Biancolila, Joni Tomala, and Erhan Yayovski. Obviously, Tomala and Yayovski, these two are fighting for the win, and it was Yayovski taking it in the sprint race. Now they want to push through, try to get into the top 5 here. But Biancolila, not an easy target to overcome. He will try to defend as much as possible because he's kind of losing here to Risto Capit, not really in any position to make a move.
Yeah, and Tomala's got to make the right move as well, because as soon as if he makes an error, Yayovski is going to be through. There's no doubt about it. He's sort of all over him at the moment. Tomala going a little wide back there, actually. Having to go a bit more defensive, as I say that, Biancolila also running a little wide. Risto Capit, he's continuing to keep the pressure on Kastrup, and that's all just ahead of them. So I would say from almost probably 4th place down to 9th place, it is very, very close at the moment. Anyone makes an error, and they're quickly going to find themselves dropping many places.
Yeah, with everyone being that close, obviously a mistake is an issue. But yes, Risto Capit once again diving up the inside, but I think that it's a left king then into a right-hander, but that was not enough for him to actually pass Yuri Kastrup here. It seems like Kevin Siggy is able to get away from him and chasing down Kevin Ryan now. That's 3rd and 4th. It'll be interesting to see if Kevin gets close enough with it, but this is once again on board Risto Capit against Yuri Kastrup. It's a BMW versus an Audi. Kastrup once again covering up the inside, and seems like Risto Capit can pass him. Under braking maybe on the outside once again, now trying to cut back in, but once again Kastrup covering the inside, not giving away any room.
Not having any of it there. So close, and he's tried it many times on that exact same corner. Further up, actually, you mentioned Siggy. Siggy is all over the back of Kevin Ryan now as well, so he's managed to chase down Kastrup, continuing to have to be defensive. And don't forget, Biancolila and Tomala with Yayovski all still behind that, watching that battle between Risto Capit and Kastrup play out. So anyone were to make an error, what just happened there? I saw someone move down. Was that Risto? No?
I'm trying to check now, but I think no one, it was just a leaderboard moving, because I don't see anyone missing there. Risto Capit is still behind Yuri Kastrup, and then we see Biancolila, Tomala, and Yayovski. So nothing changed there. Well, we got Kevin Ryan versus Kevin Siggy here on screen, and Kevin Siggy, he had such a good run. He comes into this round as the absolute point leader, so he wants to make up every single spot, trying to build that gap going into round 4.
Yeah, and he led from the start as well, and that's a good move. It looks like he's going to have the drive down the inside. That is a beautiful, beautiful, clean move from Siggy. Oh, Ryan, oh, little contact. Where's Risto Capit behind all this? Because he's got past Yuri Kastrup as well. Brilliant stuff, and now he's on the backside of Siggy, but doesn't really have the position. Look at Biancolila behind him as well. Everybody trying to get a piece of it, but Risto Capit up into 5th place, and now Absapti forced to take that drive-through penalty means they're all going to make that shuffle forward. So Borja Milan now the race leader, and Siggy up to a podium place.
Absolutely love that. We saw both overtakings, and the comment absolutely fit both of them. It was the same move for Risto Capit as it was for Kevin Siggy, but Capit not being able to take advantage of that mistake by Kevin Siggy in the McLaren in front of him. He had to lift the throttle a bit there, trying to not run into the back of the McLaren. well, you said already, due to the penalty to Al-Sabti, now Borja Milan in the lead again with Kevin Ryan second and Kevin Siggy third. So that means Yayovsky and Tomola are being closer to the top 5. They just have to overcome Kastrop and Biancolila now. It's still an absolutely huge gap. Look at that gap Borja Milan already built up. He was obviously chasing down Al-Sabti, and with that created a gap of nearly 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, I want to see what Risto Capit has now, because he was obviously, it seems he's got past Yuri Kastrop, sorry, and it looks like he's kind of been unleashed. So whether Kevin Siggy is now in trouble, I don't know. We'll see whether he can trace down Siggy and Kevin Ryan. They have managed to build themselves a gap up at the moment as positions sort of flatten out a little bit. 34 minutes to go in the race, so loads of time to start settling in. And again, Siggy all over the back of Kevin Ryan as he looks down the main straight.
I finally found out what happened to Hani Al-Sabti for his penalty. It's actually from the last race at the Nürburgring when he got himself tipped out, and then he came back out onto the track in a probably a last-ditch attempt to save a position. So he slid across the grass, then across the pit entry and back onto the track, where he hit Jerne Simičić. So he's had that penalty for avoidable contact and failure to lock brakes. So that's what's happened to Hani there.
Side by side there, once again, Kevin Siggy and Kevin Ryan, but now everyone gets involved, and Joni Tomola gets off track.
Yeah, Tomola gone there. He goes sliding off. Everybody looking to make a move. Siggy, is he going to be able to stick it? Doesn't look like it. He's got the inside, and oh, that's forced Ryan wide. So he goes through. Capit keeping a look on him as well, and this bunch right up, but it means that Kevin Siggy with a brilliant move into second place.
A lot of shuffling now in those positions. Let's see in the replay if we can try to figure out what exactly happened there. That was Tomola being on the outside, then that little tap on the back. You can see brakes not really working there anymore as the car goes sideways, and it's really hard to keep it on track, and he had to go through the grass pit back on track. Now he's 11th, so not as bad as it could be, but definitely not where the winner of the main race at Nürburgring wants to be in this. Now, right behind
Siggy wide. Siggy very wide there. Ryan through. Capit, I think, may get through as well, but Siggy just out-braking himself, if anything, going into that corner, sliding wide, and now he's having to go defensive with Risto Capit down the outside. Is he got enough? Siggy cuts the door off straight away. He tries to make the move. He manages to blast past Kevin Ryan, and now is Capit going to get through as well? No. Outside, Siggy closes the door. Oh, just a little bit of contact, but he should be clean through. Where did Kastrop go in the end of that? He fell right back. What happened there? Capit went off.
Yeah, Capit actually was pushed from the back, it seems, because everyone was kind of bunching up there due to what happened with Kevin Siggy in front of them, and it seems like Capit was the victim of that move there. He dropped down to, where is he now, 10th, so that got Tomola already in the top 10 again, who's now 9th, while there's Kevin Ryan going from the outside of Kevin Siggy here. Once again, that very long right-hander, but Siggy on the inside, way better traction out of that turn, able to defend his second position.
Yeah, Pev's actually out of the race. He had a drive-through penalty assigned to him, but he's never going to serve it because he's retired with suspension damage, so that's his race over.
So points could be gained here. Yayovsky in 6th place at the moment. We don't know whether he's going to get a penalty from that nudge onto Tomola. We don't know. We'll see whether it's just a race incident. It may well just be that. Biancalila also still holding him off at the moment as Yuri Karstrop's just seeing everything happening around him at the moment. But Siggy has finally got himself a bit of free air, hasn't he, from Kevin Ryan? That's been going on for a long time, and now he's finally got his foot down. So Biancalila is the next one that's going to be under pressure from Yayovsky. And also, we shouldn't mention just Yayovsky, because Pastor is closed right up on these, along with Kevin Van Dorn. So because there's been so much action, the pack has kind of gained back on this front 5.
I have to say, I don't want to be Manuel Biancalila right now, because that guy had been in those packs all day long, in the sprint race, now in the main race, and now he's starting an attack on Yuri Kastrop here. Once again, can he actually make the move against the Audi? This time, slight nudge on the back with a quarter panel here, but nope, once again, Kastrop can defend that one, and Biancalila back in 5th position. But like I said, he's always in those positions today, 5th, 6th, 7th, 4th. And that's always where all the action is today. It's just crazy. That must be so hard on his concentration. He still has half an hour to go.
Yeah, and don't forget that Imola and Capit, they're back down in 9th and 10th. They went off, but they should be able to make that move once again. It's looking like Kastrop. Is he going to get through this time? Biancalila's trying, but I think he's left the door wide open for Yayovski to sneak up the inside. Don't think he's quite got enough as he goes on the outside of this one, and then it'll be back on the inside, but no. Yayovski has to back off that move, trying to benefit from Biancalila making a move on Kastrop.
And now it's really devastating if you launch an attack and it does not work, because then all of a sudden you find yourself with a train of cars on your inside trying to push through. That's what happens here to Manuel Biancalila, who now had to let off. Oh, who's missing there? Was that no? Just once again,
it was
dropping in the leaderboard,
catching you off. Yeah,
it's the refresh that we getting hyped up about. But like I said, as soon as he's opening an opportunity on the inside, there are so many cars in the slipstream that can pass through, and there was a slight mistake by Biancalila. Once again, Yayovski and Pastor looking to make a move, and it seems like Biancalila way too slow into the corner. The BMW nearly touching him in the back there. So let's see how long this group can stay like this, because everyone wants to make a move now for the last half an hour here on the main race.
Yeah, and you can see with Siggy now breaking away and Ryan also semi-breaking away from Kastrop, it's all backing up behind Biancalila. It is a big train, and we were talking about, you know, make an error and someone's going to be going straight through. Capit and Imola are back in 9th and 10th. They are right on the back of this pack. Pastor has just got Kevin Van Doren between them, and he's right back onto Pastor and Yayovski. So he's going to maybe just get a gentle nudge of saying, hi, I'm back, Yayovski. We'll see how close he can get on this one as Yayovski continues to chase down on Biancalila.
Absolutely massive fighting pack that we have here, up to 10th position, basically. And we see once again...
Through! Yayovski made the move. Brilliant move onto Biancalila, but he's lost it again straight away. So outbraked himself effectively. Couldn't have the drive in the next corner, but that was a nice move, but really well retake by Biancalila.
Couldn't make it stick. Giorgio Milan is now up to already 5.5 seconds. So obviously he's really getting the advantage here of everyone else fighting behind him. The only other car that is on a clean run that could try to close the gap is Kevin Siggy, the McLaren Shadow driver, in 2nd position right now. Everyone else pretty busy with trying to defend their own spot, trying to hold on to what they currently achieved or trying to get more.
But this is great for Siggy, though, right? Because he fought his way from, 4th, 5th place, had a massive fight with Kevin Ryan for many laps. Oh, Biancalila well wide there. Yayovski through. That's going to force Biancalila way down the pack, and everybody will benefit from that one. So Yayovski now up into 5th place, Pastor into 6th, Van Doren 7th, Imola 8th, Capit 9th, and Simičić now into the top 10 with Rudy Van Buren up to 11th. I think he started from 27th, if I'm not mistaken.
Buren is now on the inside of Simičić and made the move clear on that straight. Doesn't wait that long as everyone else on there. Look at that. That's the BMW on the straight. He was just passing the Audi like it was nothing. Seems like a way better run out of that previous corner. Or we see the replay of Manuel Biancalila being in the wall. Obviously, that costs a lot of time. I think it was Dennis Jordan they are passing, kind of missing the same corner there. It is just a very risky track. Here's the pass from Rudy van Buren. Look at that. Doing it over the crest, dropping down and being in the lead on this fight before even going into the next corner. Didn't have to wait for the braking zone there. Great maneuver.
But correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Rudy start from like 24th or 27th or something down there? He's up into 10th. That's an incredible drive. He was really doing a fantastic job. I'd have to double check on the facts on that one, but I'm almost certain he started way down the pack because he had a drive-through and a spin. I think he retired in the last race, if I'm not mistaken, in the sprint race. So I'm sure he started from way down the back. So Rudy doing a fantastic job to get himself up into 10th place as Kevin Van Doren and Imola have a little pop at one another. Imola obviously also forced off the track earlier on, along with Risto Capit, who was just behind him. So keeping 8th and 9th, they're going to be very happy to be back in the run of things and keeping the chase on. Further up the field, let's not forget about Mr. Borja Milan. What a fantastic race he's had. Obviously starting out in the pole position, did have a bit of a challenge, but he's got himself a 5-second gap at the lead right now over Kevin Siggy.
Yeah, also posting the fastest lap time right now with a 1:42.2. 1:41.0. I mean, last lap was a 1:43.3, but it is the quickest lap time on board Imola. While we see Kevin van Doren now trying to make a move on Daniel Pastor. That's 6 and 7, going side by side over that curb. The BMW a bit unstable there. Obviously, the suspension working a lot, but it seems like he can now do it on the inside. Pastor again being pushed out a bit. Kevin van Doren now looking for that traction, trying to get the power down of the BMW, running a bit wide. Everyone getting involved now. Joni Tomala trying to get that slipstream working for him, but Kevin van Doren now should be past Daniel Pastor here.
Look at Capit sneaking through the back, and he's managed to work his way through. That's going to be 3 wide coming into the corner. Should be able to get ahead of Tormelo. Not too sure.
Van Doren's got round.
Oh, Van Bruren's absolutely disaster. Van Buren with a spin there. Capit goes through, gets past Tormelo. So benefiting so nicely. Capit up from 9th to 7th.
It was Van Doren that got spun there, not
Van Doren. Not Van Buren, yeah.
Van Buren had that a bit earlier in the race already. Now Kevin dropped to 17th after the great maneuver, now lost a lot of position. You will not be happy about that at all. I'll be on board with Rudy van Buren, who's now on the back of Joni Tomala. So that's Red Bull Esports Racing versus Team Redline here. See if he can close that gap to him and Risto Kappa. That's AAA Esports BMW in front of him, and then it's Daniel Pastor, who just came off the fight with Kevin van Doren.
Yeah, Capit still chasing as well ahead of him. It's Pastor that's kind of the leader of this pack right now. He's the white car. You can see at the front with Capit, Tormela and Van Buren, and Simincic just a little further behind. So this is the battle that's playing from 6th through to 10th place, with Capit looking to try and maybe send it down the inside once again, down the straight. Has he got the drive? May well have it, and that is a clean overtake from Capit.
Very well done there by Capit. Everyone fighting for the points here. I will quickly look into how we came into this race. Let's see. Where was Capit before going into this race? He started out 10th today, with 10th position on the overall leaderboard going into this race. Now 6th in the main race. It will add a lot of points to his board.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Siggy coming into this one as the race leader, he's going to be the one that's going to benefit the most. I'm wondering whether Tormela and Van Buren can keep the pressure on to Pastor now, as we're watching the backside of Risto Capit. We see them all in action on your screen there. That was such a clean move. Just effectively caught him out with a drive as he goes a little wide again, Pastor. So start to feel the pressure, I think, in this mid-pack.
And Kevin Siggy holding the distance to Borja Milan at 5 seconds right now. Not really capable of closing the gap yet, but at least it's also not increasing for him. Kevin Ryan now sees Erhan Yayovsky and Yuri Kastor on his back. That won't be an easy task, I can tell you that. Yayovsky and Kastor going for your position. Kevin Ryan will find himself trying to build up walls, turrets, everything he can do to defend third position here, because these guys definitely going for it.
Well, you're confusing me between games now. I don't know where we're going with this one. You're trying to catch me off guard. We've got a bit of a clash of, I wouldn't say clans, I know, teams. I guess we could have a clash of teams. I'm not too sure which way we'd want to go with it, this one. But Risto Capit, he's done a great job to get past Pastor. Pastor seems to be the one that's holding people up at the moment, with Tormela, Van Buren, Simincic all sort of bunching behind them. It does mean that there has been a gap formed with Yayovsky, though. He's caught right up back on Kevin Ryan, so he's trying to look at Kevin Ryan, seeing if there's any options available for him to get past. Remember, Yayovsky, the winner of the sprint race, made some great maneuvers in there. With 22 minutes still to go on this one, Kevin Ryan's going to start feeling the pressure.
And we see that now with Joni Tomala still in 7th position. Yayovsky has the chance to really build that lead on points, since Tomala was 2nd in the sprint race. So if Yayovsky can take Kevin Ryan down now for a podium spot, that really will help him on the overall board of the championship.
Pastor's gone backwards. So what's happened there? So Van Buren and Tormela both passed him there on your screen. So we saw about Pastor. We knew he was holding the pack up slowly, but Tormela and Van Buren passed him with ease there. So definitely feeling the pressure. And that means now that Capit is going to be the next victim for Tormela. I'm not too sure it's going to quite be so easy, though.
Yeah, that's true. What we see Risto Capit go a bit aggressive over that curb. Let's see what the replay gets us.
Oh, a drive-through penalty.
Oh, yeah, that's Daniel Pastor, how he lost the position probably, because he's still listed in 9th there. That is Rudy van Buren's BMW from Redline right behind that. Let's see, there's Rudy going up the inside. That was the clean pass, I think, down into is that Oak Tree, actually? Look at that, running around the outside there of the McLaren, but the BMW really strong in getting that power down and trying to close it in there. Look at that, passing in right after on the outside, getting side by side on the exit, and then closing up the move later on the next corner.
Yayovski's taking a look at Kevin Ryan. Looks like he's going to get down the outside, side by side, but he's going to have to give it up on this one because he can't get through before the corner. So he knew he was going to be on the outside and inside, really didn't have the position. Of course, it means that Yuri Kastrop's having a little look behind them, but Yayovski's starting to get feisty in this battle for third place.
I told you, it will not be easy for Kevin Ryan now to have Yayovski and Castor both on his back here. That's AAA Esports and Singularity, two of the big teams here against Simtech, the number 26. Once again, Yayovski looking at the outside, and we know that he can do that move. He tried before, he was successful in today's main race with it, but this time it wasn't enough. Kevin Ryan once again defending third spot, defending the podium here, but Castor, he will try to get involved as soon as possible, and with that, maybe even create some breathing room here for Kevin Ryan.
Yeah, he's going to want to get back on Yayovski. Yayovski cruised past him, made him look a little silly down the main straight when he passed Kastrop, so he probably wants to get back involved in this one. But obviously, as soon as these three start to battle, it's going to cause the likes of Capit, Tormala, and Van Buren to all gain places. You can see them in the background, just lingering back there at the moment, slowly gaining places. Beautiful camera angle there, by the way, watching this three-way battle as Yayovski, who won in the sprint race, looking to gain and capitalize as many points as he can. Is that an error in front of him? Kevin Siggy, is that? Kevin Ryan definitely starts to struggle. It was Kevin Ryan starting to go a little sideways.
We also see that pace is slightly changing. Kevin Siggy now able to decrease the gap between him and Borja Milan, now first and second, down to at least slightly under 5 seconds, sometimes now up to 5 again. So not increasing that gap yet, but Kevin Ryan, he will feel all that pressure, probably already a lot of sweat on his forehead with all these guys in the back. And the longer he keeps Yayovski back from doing any move on him, the closer Joni Tomala and Risto Kappen will get to this group. And then the fight is really on, because that's the same group we had before. We saw how crazy they can get side by side, 3 wide into turns. That's actually what I expect now as soon as everyone gets involved. Once again, Risto and Yayovski showing himself on the outside, making sure this BMW is all in the rearview mirror of Kevin Ryan here.
Yeah, further down the pack, by the way, Simincic and Briliak are starting to have a little bite back and forward at each other. That's between 9th and 10th place right now. So Briliak really starting to try and make some moves on Simincic at the moment, trying to get a little bit of space past him. That's down between 9th and 10th. Kevin Ryan on your screens, though, still with Yayovski all over his rear wing at the moment. Just trying to take a nibble left, right, see where he can get through. Van Buren trying to make a move as well, so that didn't work out for him. I got excited. It's that refresh. I thought he got past Tormala, but he hasn't. He's still all over the backside of him.
Yeah, the refresh getting us kind of off guard now, each and every time. Tormala and Rudy van Buren, what a clash basically here on the screen. Look at Rudy really throwing it sideways into the apex there, trying to be as quick as possible right behind that Red Bull Esports car. Not really close enough yet though to use the slipstream to pass Joni here, but he might be at the end of that straight. Look at that, he's coming closer. Well, we also see the move here by Yayovski on Kevin Ryan. There's the notch on the back. Kevin Ryan nearly spins around, but that's enough for Yayovski to go through. That was knocking at the door, no one opens, and then you ask the police to basically help you through, and so they did. Yayovski now onto the podium.
Kastorp's dropped out, he's had a DNF, I think he's had a disconnect or something like that, because the car just dropped all the way back down the field, and then he's just appeared in the pit lane. So yeah, Yuri's race is over by the looks of things.
Capit trying to get through on Kevin Ryan as well. That's a bit ambitious to send it down, and it's opened the door for Tormala. Tormala going straight through into 5th place. So Risto Capit still trying to fight back on this one. Don't think he's going to be able to give this one up quite so easily, and Capit will brute force his way through. But look at Van Buren right behind them. He wants to get involved.
Absolutely love the defensive work here done by Capit, really putting a lot of effort into fighting against Tormala here, and once again he had been the winner, with that giving time to Rudy van Buren to close the gap once again to Tormala, trying to get involved into this pack. We now know Kevin Ryan obviously lost his podium spot to Yayovski after that notch on the back, basically clean tap onto the McLaren, or probably that rear bumper is super expensive already, so even that tap was costly, and it also cost him the podium, at least for now. Joni Tomola looking at Risto Capit, and this is not over by far not. We still got 15 minutes on the clock, and these guys, let's be honest here, until even in 2 laps, it could be the complete opposite and Rudy van Buren leading this group.
I don't know whether you saw it, Aiden, or whether you were watching it, but I did see that Briliak and Simijic, they were in 8th and 9th. They're now down in 13th and 14th. So while we were watching that battle take place, clearly something has happened because there has been a big shuffle between 8th to 14th with Brzezinski, up there now, and Drillen. Dennis Jordan back into 10th place. Al Sabti back into 11th place. He had a drive-through penalties back in 11th place, so Santa get himself back up there. So something happened down in that middle pack. I didn't see what it was.
Oh, look at that once again. Krista Capit and Kevin Ryan, and it seems like Capit went off. Yeah, everyone passing him on the inside. He's probably at the end of this group now. Yeah, Rudy van Buren making sure that his BMW fits there. There must be enough place for this big boy to making the pass. And with that, it's now Yayovsky leading the pack of Tomola, van Buren, and Capit, but they're still side by side here. Kevin Ryan not willing to give up another spot and was able to defend this one.
Yeah, he's going to be hating that. From 3rd down to 6th now as Yayovsky, Tolma, and Van Buren. Capit, well, he's almost looking to brute force. Let's have a look at it on your screen here. This is how it all played out. Capit forced wide. Look at that, 3-4 wide as they come into the corner. Very tight racing. Van Buren on the inside, really benefiting the most from that one and jumping 2 places.
Yeah, Kevin Ryan pushed him a bit into the grass, but then also was very unlucky on the braking there into that tight right-hander. That's why he lost all the positions right after and found himself, yeah, basically where he pushed his enemy off to. That's where they are right now at the back of this pack. And Joni Tomola finally up to 4th, which means the big gap in points that I said you could predict here for Yayovsky is not happening, because it's once again Tomola and Yayovsky right behind each other, just like they finished the sprint race.
We need to check this. I'm absolutely certain Van Buren's come up from 27th. He's in 5th place.
He did.
Yeah.
I can see it.
This is
start to 26th. Yeah.
What an insane drive to be up into 5th place and challenging for what's potentially a podium spot with Yayovsky just ahead of him. And Tomola, don't forget about Tomola. Tomola got spun by, I think it was Yayovsky, got that nudge and got sent back down to 10th place. So he's right back on the pack. So all this battling has just drawn them all closer and closer, and they're not done yet. They're going 3 wide again. They're putting the pressure on. Tomola goes through as Yayovsky forced to go defensive there, but he sent it too much. Tomola goes off. He sends it. That's a little too much of a send there, and it means Van Buren is up to 4th place. I think it was just too late on the brakes there.
Joni Tomola now down to 10th, maybe even 11th. Now he stays in 10th, that's the important part. Also, Kevin Ziggy now, he actually scrapped off a 2nd of a gap between him and Borja Milan. So it seems like Borja is currently a bit slower than the pace that Kevin Ziggy can go. Well, we see the replay once again. Tomola on the inside there, braking very, very late, overshooting the apex there, losing it. There was no one else involved. He actually got lucky there. That was enough room for him to just go through the apex, cross it, and then spin out.
We've also lost Dennis Lind. He's had a disconnect as well. I think his race was going very, very well for him. He was up into about 19th or 20th, but yeah, he's out now.
Very unfortunate when that happens. Dennis Lind always fighting with a Bentley, and it's great to have that one Bentley in the pack here. I really appreciate people going for different cars. Once again, Rudy van Buren onto Yayovsky. Yayovsky opened the door there. There was no chance for him to defend the entire straight, and it seems like Rudy van Buren easily passing him once again. I wonder if that is a setup difference, because that's the 2nd time we see Rudy van Buren being the only one that's able to pass on the straight before going into the turn.
Yeah, that's just such a clean move as well. Yayovsky defended to the left, forced him to the right, and Van Buren just sailed down the straight there. It's actually similar to what Yayovsky did on, I believe it was, Risto Capit did earlier on. But it didn't quite work out for him. Risto Capit, speaking of him, him and Kevin Ryan have a little nibble at one another just behind this pack. I don't know whether he's going to be able to sneak back up the inside. I think Ryan should be able to keep him at bay, but Yayovsky looks a little shaken after that move from Rudy van Buren.
He's definitely not up to the pace of Kevin Ziggy and Borja Milan right now. Nearly a 2nd between their lap times. But obviously there's also this fight going on that keeps them away from just hammering it down and really getting the lap times done. But this fighting group seems like to go on for basically 45 minutes. It's the last 11 minutes that started now, and so far they always provided us action here. I wonder who was that in the background there. It's Martin Dillon closing the gap to Dennis Jordan. That's 8th and 9th now. So BMW versus R8. We're on board with Martin Dillon, the Singularity Racing driver, trying to find that weakness in Dennis Jordan's line, a chance for him to send his R8 on the inside, or maybe even around the outside here, Virginia International Raceway, to pass and get onto 8th.
Well, one thing we also need to take into account is that, in the words of Jack Nicholls, Kevin Siggy is getting Siggy with it, and he's actually catching up to Boyer Milan, so don't write off this as a Boyer Milan victory just yet.
Ryan and Risto Capit once again going through this game. Risto Capit on the inside, then on the outside. He should have the drive through. No!
Oh, no!
Nudged and spun. Ryan not giving up his position there, and Capit's going to get sent down, tumbling
Capit's
down
lost
the
his
places.
wing. He's out.
Very unfortunate there. They're both got a bit closer. Everyone was on the line, didn't want to give up a spot, and Krista Capit now without a rear wing. That's not really working for the M6. I can tell you that. He spun. Oh, he nearly rolls back on the track. I had that on the other camera. That was pretty risky. Let's have a quick look into what happened. Krista Capit, Ryan, they gave her enough space on the first one, but then this double nudge, you saw that the McLaren was basically starting to panel him left and right, and then there was no chance for Kevin Ryan to stop him going into Krista Capit, and Krista Capit got rid of that a bit of carbon fiber on the back. Unfortunately, the gain in weight will not really help him because there's not enough downforce. He's now retiring the car.
Oh, that's going to hurt him. He was doing really well. Obviously, had a great race up until that point. It does mean that everybody, of course, benefits. So Tormala, Jordan, all up into 7th, 8th, Drilling up to 9th. Our Sabti back in the top 10 now. And Van Doren also obviously spun earlier on back into 11th place now. Brzezniewski, we haven't really watched much of him. He's in the Williams up into 6th place now, quietly going about his business and working his way up there with Kevin Ryan in his front view at the moment with in 5th place. He's dropped off with Yojovski and Van Bruin starting to separate a little bit now, 3rd and 4th. So the BMWs starting to go about their business with just 8 minutes remaining.
I'm really wondering now, it's 3.5 seconds between Kevin Siggy and Borja Milan. If there is a chance for Kevin Siggy to actually close that gap before the race is over, well, we see a Jimmy Nisula on your screen. That's Peter Bielak's Edge Esports car in front of him. Also a very nice fight. We saw Peter Bielak having a bit of, unlucky moments in this and in the sprint race, which is why he's currently on 12. Looking at Kevin van Doren in front of him. That's the BMW from Redline that you see up the front. Definitely not yet in any range to be a threat here.
Yeah, Briliak and Simicic were up in 7th and 8th, so didn't see exactly what happened. I'm gonna guess something happened between the two of them because they both went down the pack. So Briliak obviously recovered pretty well from this one. Simicic seems to have slipped off a bit though, while the rest of the pack have benefited. Our Sabti back in the mix, was our race leader right at the start. Managed to take himself from 2nd or 3rd, I think it was, up into 1st place. Had to have a drive-through penalty, and he's got himself back into that 10th place mix-up as we see Tormala trying to keep the move onto Dennis Jordan there. Is he going to be able to get through? I don't think so at the moment. It's just going to keep him in check though. Dennis Jordan under pressure.
And definitely the BMW from Evolution Motorsport there, and the Red Bull Racing Esports car on the back. Yoni Tomala, after his win, his first rFactor2 win, if I'm not mistaken, that was round 2 at the Nürburgring main race. He's obviously wanting more right now, wanting more points for his team, because he could really move up the standings for the championship, but for that he would need to pass Dennis Jordan. Dennis Jordan, we talked about him before going into this race, by the way, as one of the guys that actually is always on the quiet side by scoring, but it's El Sabti passing Martin Dillon here, right?
Yep, clean through, very nice maneuver. We're seeing why El Sabti was leading early on. He obviously made that move. He got past. He's the one and only person that has got past Borja Milan right now, it seems, despite the fact he had that drive-through back to 9th place, benefiting from some of the craziness that has been going on throughout the race. Here's the move. It was a very clean drive. Just pretty much what we've seen from the BMWs all day long.
Yeah, that was the Rudy van Buren move basically going into this. But once again, you see that it's not as quick as Rudy is able to make that move. Rudy is always on the back on the line already before going into that corner. While we saw that Al Sabti had to do a bit of moving under braking. Still, Dennis Jordan has Joni Tomla on his back. It's not really changing. That's the two cars you see in front there now. Yeah.
No, it's carry on. Sorry, I was just about to say race complete, but it's 5 minutes still to go. I was just wondering why the times of the gaps were all dropping out. I'm not too sure what was going on there. I was like, wait, what?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, I was confused. I was like, wait, the race can't be complete. There's still 5 minutes to go, but we've just lost all our time checks. But it's all good. It's all good because Jordan's still holding off Tormala, which is the main point that we were making there. Tormala, he's had a torrid race, hasn't he? Had a great sprint race, finished second place, but he's been up and down the standings with spins off the track. I think twice off the track, if I'm not mistaken, and managed to fight his way back into that top 10.
Yeah, it is definitely Joni King of Comebacks Tomala in today's race. Once again, he wants to win the position. He started in 9th, so he's now in 8th, so one position gain at least, but as you know, it had been way more than that because he was running for a podium spot here, but he has to overcome Dennis Jordan. First of all, we got Al Sabti now on screen and Martin Durland. That's the Singularity Audi right behind that. I think it's Brzezinski getting involved there as well. No, Brzezinski's in front of them. That should be... Was it Brzezinski? Now I'm really confused. That looked to me like a Williams Esports McLaren, but I might have been completely wrong. It's Nikodem Wisniewski. All right, I was looking for him in the board and couldn't find him. But he's still there, still around, and still chasing Martin Durland here.
Yeah, Wisniewski's actually 2 laps down on everybody else, so it's...
Oh, that's why I
That's where we get confused. Yeah.
I was really looking for that Williams Esports. I was like, it can't be true. It's like, that's definitely a Williams Esports car. But he is down indeed. Still going, and I appreciate that. Not giving up, still doing his laps in 22nd right now. Still in front of Risto Capet, who is a retired car already. The gap now on the lead, Borja Milan and Kevin Siggy down to 3 seconds. And we just got 3 minutes 45, so don't think much will happen there unless Borja Milan does his first mistake here. So far, absolutely beautiful drive. Yep, he lost his pole position to Al Sabti, like right after the start. He lost the lead to Al Sabti, but still doing good. Not getting any penalties. That's the important part. You need to be consistent to score the big points.
Well, we've seen it many times. We're starting to get towards the end of the race. People start to make some rash maneuvers. So we'll see whether we are just looking through the pack, and exactly that's what I was looking for. Tormala, that was a great maneuver. Straight through. Jordan, is he going to get the bite back on him on the inside? It doesn't look like it. That was nice. Tormala through to 7th.
We've lost Jonas Ravio. His engine's blown, so he might have been a victim of a double downshift at some point. So another one to add to the list of retirements, along with Capet, Lind, Kasdorp, and Peyo Pev as well.
It is a war here in Virginia. Not an easy track. So much high-speed corners, and obviously you always want to get that open door and find yourself a way through that. Kind of leading people into slightly more aggressive maneuvers today. On the screen, that is Peter Björlök, the McLaren in blue there between Kevin van Doren and Jimmy Nisola from Satellite Racing. I didn't set Satellite Racing today yet, so we'll do that now to make sure that they are named as well. Fighting for 12th, 13th, and that's 11 in front of them, Kevin van Doren. Oh, I thought he's losing a bit of traction out of that corner there.
Well, I mean, they will be, right? We're what, 23 laps, I think, in race pace into this, 24 laps in race pace. So they're definitely going to start falling off the tyres a little bit. Everybody's going to start a little bit of sliding, so got to keep their concentration levels up with just 2 minutes remaining in this race. Borja Milan has led from pole position. Did lose his place a little bit, but he's got a clean drive throughout it. Kevin Siggy has gained ground. He's down to the 2.5 second marker now, but it's not quite going to be enough, is it, with just 1 lap remaining within this race. Rudy van Buren, probably the driver of the day, honestly. 27th up to 3rd. That is phenomenal. Phenomenal stuff from there. Brzezinski, we're watching him at the moment with Tormala, who is making some moves past Dennis Jordan just a moment ago. Now looking at Brzezinski and seeing if he can get up to 6th.
Yeah, Brzezinski also loses that spot then. Joni Tomla is on fire, that's for sure. Nearly the last minute, so He needs to close the gap to the Williams Esports driver right now. Then it's Williams versus Red Bull. Basically, yeah, you know, feeling like on that one series on TV that I don't want to name here right now. But they're going at each other, and Williams looking good up the inside. They're trying to defend here. Brzezinski doing a good job there, but Tomola is still all over the back. Question is, can Dennis Jordan get involved here and maybe even earn that spot if the two McLarens get a bit too close?
It's possible. I mean, he'd love to get back past Tomola, wouldn't he? But Tomola has been fantastic today. Second place in the sprint race, was the fastest in qualifying, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it clearly has been hot. Just a little unfortunate, honestly, to find himself in this 7th place right now, which is why Brzezinski, sorry, get his name correct, is under some severe pressure here. With just, one lap remaining. I'm looking at Milan's position. I think he's just gone over the start-finish line, so there is probably going to be another lap on this.
I think we'll get one. It's the last 5 seconds. While Tomola is still looking at the back of that Williams Esports McLaren right in front of him. He wants to get that move going, and that needs to happen early. That's a long straight now. A lot of slipstream for Tomola moving up the inside. Now it's under braking into a left-hander. No, he's doing it before braking.
Got it.
Easily.
Fantastic.
I was really waiting for that one big move in the braking zone, but nope. Just happening on the straight. Tomola just being calm, chill, winning another spot up to 6 now.
Boyamana's just crossed the line, so the race is over. So this is the final lap. We've got Kevin Siggy just crossed the line in 2nd, so Van Buren takes 3rd. Fantastic drive from him from the back of the grid, pretty much. So it's all down on this little drag race to Dennis Jordan, Brzezinski. No, Jordan can't do it.
Yeah, definitely not going to be enough. Tomola, well, a great race from him to get back into it. The top 10 all now set up. Al Sapti, by the way, back into 9th place with that drive-through. Obviously, talk about Tomola. You know, he's had many a spin. Van Buren's amazing race. Yayovsky winning the sprint and getting 4th place in the race. He has earned some big points today. Kevin Siggy, the points leader coming into this one. He finishes 2nd in the race. So also big points. As we hit the halfway stage, this is going to be a hot championship with three races to go.
Yeah, I'm definitely sure that everything is still open for, I nearly would say, the top 10 later on. The results you will once again find on our social media, so rFactor2 on Facebook, rFactor2 on Twitter. Just check that out. We'll post them as soon as Race Control had the first look at all the standings, accumulate all the points, and then we will bring that to you as quick as possible. We're not doing any on-air maths right now because we always know how that ends. We should probably not even try.
No.
Otherwise, we'll just embarrass ourselves. But what a race in Virginia that was. Let's be honest here. That was 3 races by now. We're running into round 4, which is Imola in 2 weeks' time. So next Monday, you see the GT Challenge Series here on the same track with Lewis McLeod and Aidan Millward behind the microphone. And then the week after, you will see the Pro Series in Imola for round 4. But every single round so far was an absolute masterpiece of action in racing. I really can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, some really nice, clean moves as well. Obviously, you know, thinking of Van Buren, Yayovsky, these guys have been making those clean overtakes. We just saw, obviously, the exact same from Tomola, always in that same spot, just down the big, long straight, out braking, and some of them actually getting it done before they even hit the corner. So some really nice overtakes. Not too many nudges or drive-through penalties. We did see a couple in there. I got to give a mention to poor old Yuri Kastrop. I'm guessing his internet gave out on him, which has been, you know, the case for a lot of people worldwide. The internet's getting pretty hammered right now with everybody staying at home. So unfortunate for him. He was up in, I think, 3rd or 4th place when he lost connection. So he was looking good in the race up until that point.
And technical difficulties can always occur, we know that, but it's the first win for Borja Milan in the GT Pro Series. Also the first win for Wanako, if I'm not mistaken. So it's taco time for everyone, also for everyone in the chat. Just make sure to message Biola Milan, get your tacos from him. I think I should give a round to everyone now for winning Virginia. We will be back on the 13th of April with round 4 Imola for the GT Pro Series. Keep in mind, this is presented by The Race, Fan Attack, and TW Steel. So there's a lot of line every single race. money on the line every race, Fanatec gear on the line every single race, and also a watch by TW Steel and the big prize pool in the end. So the Pro Series is definitely something you shouldn't miss at all. I think that's for it. Once again, we had Lee Demon Smith joining here for the commentary. We had Aidan Millward, the best pit reporter out there on the internet. My name is Rennie Butler, and I see you guys in round 4.